Aside from Dodgers fans and Blue Jays haters, there is no one in the world happier that the World Series has now gone to a Game 7 than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Just conveniently, Game 7 lines up with their game against the Philadelphia Flyers, coming off of maybe one of the worst games we've seen in the past, 5-10 years of this group. It's hard to say because even though I look back and I think that's basically the same game they played against Columbus at that point last year in the season, so maybe it's not the worst. But regardless, sticking out in my head as one of the worst that we've seen in a long time. Coming off of that, with all the scrutiny you've faced throughout the beginning of the season, you just get one more blended in there into the beginning of the season. Oh no, the Jays are playing and people can't watch us. It's a little bit of free money here for the Maple Leafs tonight. You lose and people are like, well, let's look at the box score on that one. Oh, they lost. Don't really know what else happened because no one cares right now. Rather than watching, seeing a stinker, and then having their minds explode yet again. Just a little bit more pressure that is alleviated from this group than would have been there otherwise, just given the fact that all the attention and oxygen in the city is going to be going towards the Blue Jays game tonight. Added on top of that, no William Nylander for your Toronto Maple Leafs tonight against the Flyers. Game 12 of the regular season as they continue this short little road trip here through the Eastern Conference and playing against Scott Laughton's former team. So we'll dig into who's playing, who's not, what the lines shake up to be in today's game preview. I'm Zach Phillips. Today's preview, as always, is a presentation of Bet365. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into the information that we know as of right now. I tried to wait this one out a little bit here because there were some questionables about who could and could not play and what might be happening and changes, whatever. So we'll get into all of that courtesy of our friends over at Daily Faceoff. Checking out tonight's lineup, you'll notice the first change there right away. Max Domi listed as your first line right winger. That would be because William Nylander is not playing. Now, he was on the ice this morning. For those who don't turn on tweet notifications like I do to see what the hell is going on at any given moment with line rushes and morning skates and all that kind of stuff, William Nylander was skating, and then all of a sudden he's not taking reps on the power play. It was Max Domi in his place, which we will get to a little bit later as well, but Max Domi in his place, which would indicate likely William Nylander does not play, but if you've watched this team, if you've followed William Nylander, if you've followed their patterns and reps and all that kind of stuff, this is also not that surprising because William Nylander does do some weird stuff where he'll just be like, not today, and take off and not go out for the power play reps. But he's not playing. David Holzer confirms William Nylander is out tonight for your Toronto Maple Leafs. He will not play, continuing to work through whatever it was that he was dealing with there. Over the past little while, it seems like some type of lower body injury he sustained about a week ago left him feeling sore throughout the remainder of that game, gave it a whirl, not going to be able to go here tonight. Honestly, it's kind of a tough one because if your team's rocking right now and you have the ability to just say, hey, it's okay, don't play, don't worry about it, get back to health, it feels better. But when you are one of basically the two stars in terms of point production of the team, you're a little bit more heavily relied upon. And then add on the fact here that this team is struggling. And not just are they struggling, but everybody is looking for offensive production. You are the guy who does that. It is a little bit tougher being like, we got to get back on track. We need to get things on the rails. You're the guy who can help us. But at the same time, we're early in the season. So like, do we really want to do this? So William Nylander sits out this game tonight. Matthew Knies, I've got no issues with here at all. The guy's a gamer. He brings it every single night. He's busting his balls. He's going everything he's got. I'm glad he's getting back onto this first line. I talked about balancing things out when William Nylander is playing, and I understand if you put Nylander on first line right wing, why you would move Matthew Knies to the second line left wing. But if he's not playing, Nylander that is, I like putting Knies back up to the first line and giving Matthews that guy to play with on his wing. It just gives you another guy who's a horse up there, a little bit more skilled, actually a lot more skilled than Bobby McMann, a lot more consistent than Bobby McMann. So if he goes up there, he plays on that line, he just gives them a little bit more juice and gives Auston Matthews more to work with. Like, Auston Matthews, I still need a lot more out of him. But that being said, you do understand a little bit. He's playing with Bobby McMann. He's playing with Nick Robertson. It's not like he's been given the Globetrotters out there on his wings to be able to get him going. This is where the internal debate comes in. This is where my fight with Leafs Nation comes in, where the conversation then swings to, which I will get into a little bit here right now. Well, he lost Mitch Marner, and that's who the driver was. Well, then he's not worth $13 million. I believe in this guy. I believe he is. That's why I'm not giving him the excuse of Mitch Marner not being here. That's why I'm not allowing, oh, well, that guy's gone, so that's why the production's not there, and that's why it's not being driven. No. We've seen him at his best. We saw him play with Bertuzzi and Domi and make it work. We saw him play with those guys and score 69 goals in a season. We've seen him put up points without Mitch Marner, without William Nylander, without Matthew Knies. He is capable of doing it. That's why the critique is there on a guy like this, because we know that it's in there. We know that he's a guy that can drive. And I'm not going to stand for, well, it's because Mitch was the guy who did it. I don't think that's fair to him. I don't think that's a realistic evaluation of it, because he's shown that he can do it without him. So, quite frankly, it's a bullshit excuse. I know that the guy can drive a play, drive a line, and he can get it going. And just straight up by eye test, you can see the drive is not there. Not because he's not trying to drive it, or not because he's trying to drive it and it's just not coming. It just seems like he's not trying to. That lack of intensity, the next gear, the next step, the little bit of grit, dig down deep within you, it just seems like it's missing right now from Auston Matthews. That next step from him needs to show up. I know he's got it in him. I'm not giving him that excuse of, oh, Mitch isn't here anymore, that's why it's gone. He's more than capable. And if he's not, then the $13 million was just an overpay. I don't think it was. This is a guy who won the Hart Trophy. This is a guy who won multiple Rockets. He doesn't need that guy. He can do it without him. He just needs to dig deep. On to your next line. Bobby McMann, John Tavares, Matthias Maccelli. Johnny T, 500 career goals. Joe Bowen was on Leafs Morning Take the other day. He apologized for the goal call. I mean, I understand both sides of it. I understand the apology, and I understand why he called it the way he did. It's like the worst case scenario possible for Johnny T to score that 500th goal. Makes that game like just the most irrelevant 500th goal of all time. It's in the middle of absolute nothing that's happening. The team stinks. There's no energy. There's no life, and he bangs 500. A disgusting play by Matthew Knies, mind you, to get that puck over to him and make the pass. And a good play by Nick Robertson entering the zone. But it's just like, what are you going to do? Like, clear the benches for 500? Like, you're getting your shit pumped. No, you're not going to do that. It's just like you feel bad for the guy. His big moment is not a big moment anymore. You almost hope that 501 is just that much more special, like OT winner or something, and you get to go nuts for him and celebrate him and the career he's had and the accomplishments he's had along the way. It's unfortunate. I mean, 500 in that game is all-time stinker. Like, what are we doing? Why is this happening? He goes back with Bobby McMann, a guy I like him playing with. I think Bobby can bring some speed. He can bring some aggression to that line. He just has to bring it consistently. You see ebbs and flows of Bobby McMann's game. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. You can't have that from a guy like that. It's got to pick up. It's got to elevate. You know, you need to have that night in, night out if you want to be a top six guy. Otherwise, you're now looking for another player to be able to fit in there and probably relegating Bobby McMann. To which he's a good third liner, but you think you can get more out of him. I think you can get more out of him. We've seen it for like stretches of time. It's just what happens when it's not on. Sometimes he can be invisible. want him to step up here tonight, given this opportunity to stay in the top 6. Obviously, some injuries here and guys being out, and you're still looking for another top 6. It keeps you hanging on, but you can prove, hey, even if you do go get those guys, I can stay here. Matthias Maccelli remains on that line. He shows promise, and then he shows the Marner low light moment that like we all watched, where it was like, hey, the playmaking, 10 out of 10. You watch that, and you're like, that's on the highlight reel tomorrow. And then you watch the other side of it, and you're like, that's puck over glass against Montreal. Maccelli has that ability in him, just with way less skill. So he can make some amazing plays. He's very offensively inclined, which I really love. Not the greatest defensively, not very physical, and then has some dodo bird moments. Limit the dodo bird moments, you're going to be a much more impactful player. You're going to be a guy that has to stick in this lineup, and specifically has to stick in the top 6 for Craig Berube as this team continues to go out and look to add to their top 6 group. Dakota, Joshua, Nick Waugh, Easton Cowan. Look, I'll just say this. This third line has been my favorite line of the Maple Leafs basically through the first 11 games here to this point. You know, and I know they haven't been together for all 11, so keeping that into consideration. But from what we've seen of them, their body of work has impressed me the most of any combination of lines that have been put together through 11 games. Mostly it's just because of consistency and knowing what to expect out of the group. Yes, sometimes there's shifts where it's not the greatest and you're wanting more or nothing happens, or maybe sometimes they get hemmed in a little bit. But if you want to look at a group who's been able to establish offensive zone time, establish some type of cycle, maintain offensive zone pressure, which is something that this team as a whole has lacked. Like you watch, it's mostly just get into the zone, maybe get a shot, maybe get 2 shots, back the other way. Dump the puck in, not retrieve the puck, back the other way. Like there's not much possession that's taking place. This line of all the lines they've had has been the one that has stood out to me as like the one line that has been able to get in the zone, stay in the zone, and create something. You know, you're watching some heavier guys who are still seemingly adapting to what's going on here in Toronto and the way Craig Berube wants them to play. You can see a little bit of discomfort with Nick Waugh and Dakota Joshua, but there's times where each of them you go, oh, that's why you got that guy. It's not there 100% of the time, which I'm still looking for, but you can see it. You see that moment where Nick Waugh can get up the ice as a puck carrier and go end to end, and then he's just a big body that's hard to get the puck off of. You see the moment where Dakota Joshua gets into the corner, wins a battle, fends off a defender where he's protecting the puck and is able to go low to high with the puck and create a chance. You see Easton Cowan getting hard in on the forecheck, being a pest, never leaving guys' hips on the back check, creating problems and causing turnovers. You also see him involved in the offensive game. Now, point production hasn't been his forte here through the first 11 games of the regular season, however many games it's been that he's been in the lineup. You're not looking at him going, wow, he's producing every night. But you notice him creating things when he's out there. Getting net front, causing problems, staying in the goalie's eyes, being a guy that defenders are actually having to battle through. Now, he's not the biggest, toughest, hardest guy to move from the front of the net, but to his credit, he goes to the front, he gets to the dirty area, and he's willing to work. That line to me has been the most impressive. I mean, I want to see Easton Cowan getting more minutes. I think special teams sewers him a little bit, but I really like him with Dakota Joshua and Nick Waugh, and I think their maturity, their defensive responsibility helps him a little bit as a kid who's learning. Also, a quick side note, which is kind of irrelevant to some of it, but something I enjoy about these guys being together. I've noticed a few different times, camera cut to the bench after their shift, Nick Waugh and or Dakota Joshua are talking to Cowan. Show him something on the iPad, explaining something to him, telling him things that they see on the ice. You could just tell, like, you don't know what it is that they're saying. You're not hearing the words. You're not getting that relayed back to you. But the camera goes to them, and you could see them talking to him. It's not just blank stares looking back out onto the ice, everybody sitting around wondering what's happening, and Cowan going, wow, did I do things right or wrong? Where should I have gone differently? And not getting an answer. His teammates, his line mates specifically, are talking to him, and I've kind of enjoyed that part of them going out there with him, where it's just like information relayed, giving him responses, giving him feedback. Hey, here's how we improve from here, is what you could only assume is happening. Communication at bare minimum, I'm appreciating. Fourth line, something interesting did happen at morning skate this morning. Scott Laughton led the stretch. It doesn't look like, as of right now, he's going to play. I have no update since starting this video that he's going to play, at which point 15 minutes ago, it looked like no, and we had no answer of him being in. He did lead morning stretch here. It is the Flyers, his former team. You know he'd want that one, but don't see him coming back to this lineup here. I mean, I don't think that it's worthwhile. If Nylander's not playing, he's not in the lineup, what's the point of rushing Scotty Lots back in here and just saying like, hey man, you got to get out there. It's your former team. Like, it's a lower body injury. What I could only assume was broken foot. He was wearing a boot. We know it's off. He's been skating, hence why he's on the ice morning skate. But what's the point of rushing the guy? Like, you want him back at 100% health. You don't want guys game 11, 12, 13 of the season being like, yeah, I'll grit it out at 90% to start the season because we're battling through. He gets a puck to the foot. He gets slashed in the foot, and now he's gone for another 15 games. Heal up. Come back when you're healthy. Bring 100% when you get back. I'm okay with him not playing. I'd rather he doesn't. It does look like, though, Steven Lorentz is going to play here tonight. He's going to play with Calle Yarncroke and Sammy Blais. Dude, good on Sammy Blais. A goal and an assist. He jumps in for his first game. You know Chief trusts him. You know Chief likes him. He had him in St. Louis. Won a cup with him. He's a guy who's proven that he can play pro hockey at bare minimum. Just a determination of, is he more of an AHLer or an NHLer? He looked good in that last game. He looked like he had some fire. I don't know if it's the Nick Robertson effect, we'll call it, where it's like, I didn't play. I'm back in the lineup. I got some juice. But regardless, he brought some life, scores a goal. Lucky, unlucky for Columbus. I don't know what you want to call it. It went in. He gets credit for it. Kudos to him for that. Sammy Blais looks like he's going to stay back in the lineup here tonight, and I think he should. That is it for your forward groups. Just a quick recap of what you've got defensively. Morgan Rielly, Rielly-Carlo looks like they're going back together here tonight. Seems as though we're going to get a Chris Tanev sighting, I believe. That's the latest that I was seeing. As of right now, line rushes are slotted as Tanev and Ekman-Larsson together, McCabe and Benoit. Look, Morgan Rielly offensively started the season well. Defensively wasn't really there. Didn't help Carlo. Carlo played with McCabe a little bit. Seemed like it helped him a little bit. Still, I don't think he was that great. Now he's back with Rielly. Don't love it. Benoit and McCabe, fine with. Ekman-Larsson-Tanev, fine with. That first pairing, not in love with. Just reality. Not in love with where they're at on that. So, those are your defensive pairings for tonight. And then Anthony Stolarz is your starting goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight. He will be going up there against, as I'm just making sure that it's confirmed because the last time it wasn't, Dan Vladar. So Stolarz will get the net here for the Leafs and Dan Vladar for the Philadelphia Flyers. With that, let's get to our best bet because we do have two best bets on the night. Best bet segment is presented by Bet365. Whatever your bet is, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Use the code NATION, that's NATION, at Bet365. Must be at 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. As I mentioned, two best bets for tonight. Take a look over at what we've got. So first of all, we'll take a look at tonight's lines. The Leafs favored in this one marginally. -120, the Flyers +100. Total in this one currently set at 5.5. The over on that is favored at -120. The under at +100. Taking a quick look over to the player prop section. We're going to go to our first one here. Matthew Knies, anytime goal, +240 is our best bet tonight. We're going to go a half unit on that. $50 for Matthew Knies. Gets the bump back to the first line. Obviously remains on the power play, as we've discussed every time. Late game situations, empty net, down a goal, up a goal, overtimes. He gets ice time. You can trust this guy. He's a dog. He shows up every single night. He may not have his A game offensively, but he is always bringing it. Like, I love this kid. I love everything he brings to the team, to the room, to the ice. All of it continues to show up. We're going to bet on him again here. $50 will profit you $120. For our second bet, we're going to go to the shots on goal page. We're going to go to the one where you can bet on different numbers, alt numbers, everything like that. So you scroll down. We're going to find Auston Matthews at the top there. 5+ shots on goal for Matthews. So if he gets 5 or more shots on goal over 4.5, that will be a win for us here tonight. Plus 150 for Auston Matthews. Again, another half unit on this. So we're risking a full unit total tonight. Half on Knies goal, half on Matthews shots on goal. Plus 150 here. $50 will profit you $75 for tonight. So those are your two best bets. Look, Auston Matthews, his last few games here, Columbus, 5 shots on goal. Calgary, 6 shots on goal. Before that, he had 2 against Buffalo, 4 against Buffalo, 3 against New Jersey. So I know there's a little dip before that, but I mean, even dating back to a few games prior, you're looking at 6 against Detroit, 8 against Detroit, 5 against Nashville. Then he takes a little bit of a slump, and then back up there to 6 and 5. I think he has to bring it here tonight. I think playing with Knies helps him a lot. I think that he's going to be a guy who needs to step up. He's your captain. He's got to hear the noise. He's got to feel that pressure of like, hey, you got to get going. We can have the conversation over and over about production and are the points coming? Is he scoring? That's fine. If the points aren't coming for this guy, I'm willing to let it slide if he's bringing intensity and driving play and making life miserable for the defending team. If he's in the offensive zone and you can't get the puck off of him, even if he's not scoring, even if he's not getting assists, that's okay if he's bringing it in other areas of the game. I just cannot continue to watch this guy straight-legged, not sweating, when William Nylander's not out there. That added pressure is on him. He's got to get going. He has to get going. Point production is okay if it lacks, if it slumps, if it comes later, if the other areas of the game are there. And right now, the other areas of the game just aren't there. You need more from the guy. But those are my best bets for tonight. I recap: Matthew Knies anytime plus 240. Auston Matthews, 5 or more shots on goal plus 150. Those are the best bets. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate it. I want to see your comments down below. Do you think the Leafs win this one? Are you watching? Are you watching the World Series? What's your best bet? Do you like the lines? Do you dislike the lines? What are you expecting for tonight's game? I want to see all of it. Thank you all for watching. Hit that like button. Subscribe here to the channel, Leafs Nation 401, right here on YouTube. Thank you all. We'll see you guys soon. Till then, keep believing. For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos, make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.